Cortland Simmons back with you here on the CS Racing Report. And when you look at the raw data of this race, other than KNICKS GO having an identical time to Restless Rider in the filly equivalent, the Alcibiades Stakes, at 144.23 for the 8.5 furlongs. What was interesting were the disappointments in this race. If you look at the Dream Derby date for Wayne Lukas finished 5th. Dale Romans had 3 in here. Mr. Ankeny, Everfast, and Moonster finished 6th, 8th, and 10th respectively. So he's a little disappointed. It'll be interesting to see if out of those he will say that, look, it's a throwout. Some things went wrong. We're going to be able to correct it. You'll see a much improved performance in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, or will we see these horses switch surfaces or bypass the Breeders' Cup and be pointed to the Kentucky Jockey Club there at Churchill? Be interesting to see if all 3 of those horses have disqualified themselves with these abysmal performances, or if there was some sort of issue that will not keep them out of the Breeders' Cup but give them another opportunity where they get what we call a fair chance to make a better account of themselves. Steve Asmussen had 2 in here in Fluminense and Tobacco Road. They finished 7th and 9th. Mark Cassie finished 12th with Dreammaker. Bill Mott picked up the rear with Unionizer, a son of Union Rags, finishing 13th. As I said, aforementioned, Wayne Lukas finished 5th with Derby Date and Romans. His top 3 finished 6th, 8th, and 10th. So, a disappointment for these trainers. I'm trying to see. I think everyone's going to be very interested to see if they're going to just say, hey, we're just going to look at it as for face value, take it at face value, and not try to push it on the, the run in the Breeders' Cup to try to push that envelope, or we really feel like, 2-year-olds can be up and down. Maybe this wasn't our best day. We've got some legitimate reasons why we should run back in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So out of those disappointments, it'll be very interesting to see what happens here. As it would be, you could make the same argument for the distaff with some horses that disappointed in the Spinster and in many of the other graded stakes races. But make no mistake, KNICKS GO has certainly he has served notice. He has definitely raised people's eyebrows and put some attention on him that prior to this race at 70-1, he would have otherwise been overlooked. But now that he's jumped up and run this kind of a monster race, people are very curious as to whether he can do that at Churchill Downs, and if he's really a horse that's going to, not only be good for the Breeders' Futurity, but is going to stay at the top level amongst these 2-year-olds and be a horse that we're going to be talking about on the 2019 Kentucky Derby Trail. But again, those were the disappointments and despair of the Breeders' Futurity. But KNICKS GO, certainly there are a lot of happy people in his camp, including his trainer Ben Colebrook, once again winning the Breeders' Futurity by 5.5 lengths in 144.23 for the mile and the 16th. Once again, punching his ticket for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile at Churchill Downs and stamping himself as a major contender in that mile and the 16th Classic.